harvesting fruits and herbs and flowers that we aren't planting every year, that really becomes a labor of love instead of annuals, which are arguably a labor of necessity. They definitely, the things we want to grow in terms of trees don't have the same immediate connection to people. So I'm talking things like elderberry, aronia, persimmon. So like I'm naming native fruits that aren't staples, like say an apple or a tomato. So there's that. And then being more education focused. We already do a lot of events. We try to do at least one charitable or education event per month. Long term, we'd love that to be more on farm and really teaching people about rebuilding the soil, how to do gardens at home, how to plant more natives and focus on perennials. My mom and I have somewhat of a running joke. She always complains about the weeds at our farm. And I'm talking things like plantain, creeping Charlie, which is a beneficial, it's native. And she has what I would argue is the largest weed in our country, and that's just a traditional Kentucky bluegrass. That is not native. It was not meant to be here.
Very little benefits in terms of pollinators or, ecosystem establishment or that sort of thing. So yeah, I think we've kind of figured out that, growing food is contagious, right? Like I have so many people come to the market and they see the beautiful display and they're like, I want to grow my own food. Like, how did you get here? How did you do this? And it's hard work, but it's something that anyone could do. And even as little as like 50 years ago, everybody was growing their own vegetables. And it's this misgeneration of knowledge really that got lost, where we stopped growing our own food. And so now we're all like, whoa, I could grow cucumbers. And I think we really just want to encourage more and more people to give it a try. Right. You don't have to get it right the first time. It doesn't have to be perfect. Your cucumbers might be small or they might be weird looking, but they'll taste so good because you grew them, like you were saying. And so we just really want to find ways that we can encourage more people to engage with food, whether that's growing it, whether that's learning about it, whether that's trying new foods they've never eaten. But just encouraging people to, take part in their own food.
If I can do it, anybody can do it.
Yeah. Well, and us too, because like we didn't grow up farming. Like we are both psychology majors, right? Like, so if we can do it, so can anyone else.
99% of the work is by my wife, but it's like you said, it's contagious. Next door sold the house and moved away, and new owners came and they started talking Carolina about her vegetable garden and all that stuff, the raised garden beds and whatnot. Next thing you know, they moved in last September or so. Now they are growing their own, and we take care of their garden when they go away. They take care of ours when we go somewhere. But it is definitely most delicious stuff you can eat. And if I left my wife outside all day long, all weekend, working hard, raining or not raining or hot, she would not complain 1 second. Not at all. Not at all. In 2019, I'm gonna bring this to a question that I'm gonna give you a little backstory. 2019 marked my mom and dad's 50th wedding anniversary, and me and my two brothers, we surprised them with a trip to Michigan. And even though they didn't attend, my brothers stayed in Minnesota. We brought mom and dad here to Chicago, and we sailed out of here, went to Michigan, and stayed in a farm. my father grew up in a farm. He was helping his farmer father until he left for college. So I thought it would be good experience for him at this age. He's now 84, and also it would be good experience for my children. So at this farm, uh, children were allowed to help the farmer every day, and they really enjoyed that experience. So did I, but I was more proud of providing that opportunity to them. My question is that do you guys offer that kind of activities, events, or anything like that to other families, or do you plan to? You talk about it, or what do you say to that?
Well, right now, not really. It is something we definitely want to pursue in the future. Our biggest hang up at this point is kind of parking. We have to figure out how to have more than like our vehicles here. But, and also setting things up in a way that's very user friendly. Because right now we have a lot of like tripping hazards, and the insurance people would not be thrilled for us to have like children out in our current state. But I think there's a lot of opportunity with kids, because kids are so naturally drawn to food crops. You just show them that a cucumber starts as a flower, and they're like, what? They're just immediately engaged in a way that some adults are, but kids, it really feels natural.
Well, and we've been fortunate to have some of our nieces and nephews visit. A couple of them live out of the country, others live out of state, and to see the look on their eyes and the excitement they have to harvest spinach. They have these spinach muffins that they bake at home with mom, but like they came to the farm, they walked through our field, they harvested spinach with us, and then they helped us bake their spinach muffins. And it's just, I don't know, it makes me feel 20 years younger. Not physically, but at least mentally, when I see young kids enjoying what we're doing. And so I think for us, like, that's part of the 10-year vision is how do we get, not just adults, but children here, and that kid who's, gets real excited about, not just growing food, but then, there's a customer of ours, we learned he bought some pepper plants from us, and then he got really into making hot sauce.
There you go.
And so it's just this trickle effect or domino effect of, here's the food, you can grow it, but oh, by the way, it becomes many of your favorite things that you're eating at home.
Right, not just one thing. Right.
So.
I also really distinctly remember my niece pulling carrots out of the ground. Like, these carrots were so little, they were not anything to be impressed by. But she was like, oh my God, it's a carrot. I pulled it out of the ground. It was like this big moment for her. And she dreamed about it. She told me the next day, she's like, I had a dream. I pulled a carrot out of the ground. It was like monumental in her development. And so we would love to have more moments like that. We're not quite there yet. And we have to figure out how to get there.
It's like planting the seeds into their hearts and those memories, and some of them will stay with them forever, I'm sure. Maybe totally. they will become farmers.
Yeah, hopefully. We could use more farmers. The average age of your typical farmer, I believe, is 65. Okay. So one of my favorite little fun facts is that Josh and I are the combined age of the average farmer. And we really do need more young farmers, right? Because we're going to get to a point where people who knew how to farm are no longer with us. And then it's like, oh, what are we going to do?
Do you see yourself getting more acreage in the future?
It would have to be very strategic. I mean, across the street from us is a 40-acre conventional farm. And I dream of the day we can afford